And we'll hopefully hear more reaction to that game in the next 5 minutes or so. If not, then we're going to continue on iPlayer. But Andy Robertson there, being very reflective and very phlegmatic about the fact that there are younger players who are going to be coming in to start to take those older players' places in the team. But when you see him play the way that he did tonight, is there still a big role for him at Liverpool?
Well, there should be. I mean, I admire the way he spoke there, because he's thinking of the team. Deep down, he'd be absolutely fuming because he's deserved to play more. Now, I'm sure he understands competition was inevitable, but to be discarded, more or less, he's only played a handful of games, and with that quality he's got, more so with the ball, I think, Al, it's like his calmness and his end product. He links up well with Engamo, but he can link up with anyone. He's done it for years at this level. For some reason, he hasn't had the game. He could still have a big finish to the season. That performance should keep his place.
I totally agree in what he says in terms of, for a club the size of Liverpool, they are going to sign players and they're going to have to push each other. But I also think from his point of view, I'm not sure Kirkes has pushed him enough to be playing as much as he has done. Certainly not with the fee that they paid for him. I thought he would have been better. He's slightly improved of late, but he's a great professional, and he probably can't say what he wants to say in terms of what he feels of decisions that he hasn't been playing as often as he would have liked, because he's been absolutely outstanding for Liverpool, and I thought he was outstanding tonight, particularly the second half, when Liverpool, they just needed a bit of quality from somewhere just to break that Wolves defence down, and he's provided that tonight, and of course he's put one on the plate for Mo Salah as well.
Yeah, and what he could say was that he couldn't have hit that much better for the finish, for the goal.
Oh, it was a great strike, it really was. I mean, it all comes from Chachua down the right hand side. It was an awful ball in, sort of summed Wolves up, didn't it? And they got into a decent position, but the final pass was really poor, and then all of a sudden you can see Liverpool trying to hit them on the break, but Wolves still had numbers back when the ball eventually goes into Salah, and he's got no one to hit, and he's thinking, come on, someone come and help me. And then Robertson certainly did that, the little pass from Jones there. That is a wonderful strike. You can see the bend on it as well, can't you? The keeper had no chance with it, Danny.
No, and I think the thing we talked about a bit at half time was that space in between centre halves and wing backs, and we were wanting the wide players to do more. Robbo does this a lot when he plays. He finds himself inside the winger at times, and it's a great position he's picked up. And as we said earlier, that strike, that goal, that moment of quality, you felt from that minute on it was going to be Liverpool's evening, because Wolves had to come out a little bit. And as I said before, he's got now an opportunity to still have a brilliant end to the season if the manager decides his experience and his leadership is what he needs right now, and it is what he needs.
He's got a big call, the manager, now to see who plays next week in the Champions League, because the way he's performed tonight and the way he changed the game for Liverpool tonight, he'd be bitterly disappointed if he's not starting in the next game.
Talking of game changers, there was a goal for Mohamed Salah as well in this match, and he's not had the best of seasons for Liverpool. His numbers are nowhere near what they've been when he's been at his peak, and yet he still has that ability to bring something to the game.
Yeah, he's not, because of the very, very, very high standards that he's set. I mean, those two again down that left-hand side, it worked really well tonight, Engamo and Robertson, and that again, the quality. And we're thinking he shouldn't be offside there, because he can see right across the line, and he isn't. And they time it to perfection. That's what they lacked in the first half. They lacked that quality ball in, and they lacked that desire for someone to get on the end of it and time their run, as we said that. But that was pretty much perfect, and the game was done then once that one went in.
And he's always had that ability, Mohamed Salah, to have a quiet game and then pop up with something important.
Well, I think because he's so prolific with his goal scoring over a period of years, the negative stuff, losing the ball and not being as tidy and being out of the game for 20 minutes, is forgiven and forgotten. I think because Liverpool have been struggling recently and nobody else has taken the mantle to fill the void that he's left with the lack of goals, we start focusing on all the negative bits. You know, they're giving the ball away and not being as dynamic because he's getting older. So it's a difficult one for the manager, because maybe he doesn't have to play every game. Maybe you save him for the bigger games where he can be more dynamic. Because, to be honest, up until the point where he got the goal, or had a hand in the first goal, he'd been poor. But because now he scored and he's been involved in the first goal, all of a sudden we're praising him. It's a delicate one. When he's scoring goals, he should play, but not every game. I'd save him for the big ones.
Minute and a half between the first two goals, which meant that Wolves had to open up. They had to come out into the game, and Liverpool were able to take advantage through Curtis Jones.
Yeah, they did that, and they weren't really getting this space in the first half. The little give and the go and follow your pass there as he did, and that didn't happen with it opening up. Look, although there's four closing him down, they're not quite close enough to stop the shot. But that's what happens when you 2-0 up, because players get pulled all over the place, and Wolves did that. And again, you're looking for the quality. He guides it in really well. You can see exactly what he's trying to do, and that is a wonderful strike. It is, because he picks his spot with that left foot and he just curls it in there beautifully.
Another player who wants more minutes. Another player who had a point to prove. Another headache for the manager, which is good with the games they've got coming up.
Yeah, big games coming up for Liverpool. It has been a difficult season so far for them in the Premier League, but they are still going in the Champions League, and for now at least they are still going in the FA Cup as well. Wolves may have been able to beat Liverpool in the Premier League, but this evening there was no quarter given from the Reds, with goals from Andy Robertson, Mohamed Salah and Curtis Jones. But it was a man-of-the-match performance from 17-year-old Ngamoa. Rio is grand. Thank you very much to Alan and to Danny. We'll be hearing from Arne Slot, and we'll talk about Rio and Ngamoa on the iPlayer with more reaction and more analysis. We'll be there in about 20 seconds.
Well, let's ask one of the players then. Andy Robertson is here joining us. Perfect timing. Great to see you. Well done. How important was that rubber? We were just saying, like, you guys, this is such a big chance at silverware in the FA Cup. So tell me how big this win was.
Yeah, it was massive for us. I think Tuesday was not acceptable, and we know that. But it's quite rare in football that you get, in the next 3 days you get to play the same team in the same place and you get to put it right. So I thought today, from minute one, the performance was a lot better. I thought, we had a lot more tempo, a bit more aggressive, and I thought then when we got our noses in front, we controlled the game really well, and that's what you've got to do in, cup football.
We could see how motivated you were. You were the one that opened the scoring, and it was a hell of a goal. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Have a look at this. We're just saying as well, Mo Salah and the work that he did there was quite impressive, but your finish is very special.
It's rare. It's rare. I think probably every Liverpool fan in the stadium expected it to go over the bar. But look, obviously, it's probably a rare one for me. But when you hit it, it's just delighted to see it go back in the back of the net, and obviously an important time in the game.
A rare one for you, but your third goal against Wolves, which is more than any other team. So you must love a goal against Wolves.
I don't mind a goal here. Yeah. I remember scoring here a couple of years back, quite late on, and I think I scored in a home game as well. So yeah, look, Wales is obviously a good team for me to score goals, so maybe that was in the back of my head. But yeah, look, just delighted to get the goal, and then we go and get one so quickly after, which was probably the most important.
Yeah.
And it was your assist for that goal, Robbo. Aside from the assist, and it was a great ball, how different is it playing with somebody like Rio in front of you? Because now you've got to start thinking, hang on a minute, I need to sometimes leave him to go one-on-one against his man instead of just overlapping all the time, like you maybe would a bit more with Gakpo playing.
Yeah, look, I think early doors, I just said to him, look, I'm going to feed you the ball, and let's see how you get on. I said to him before the game that I wanted to see his decision making this game, because he's only young, and I thought tonight he was outstanding. His decision making was so good for a 17-year-old, and at times sometimes he wants to take the whole team on, and sometimes it's not the right time. But I thought tonight he made pretty much every right decision, and he's a credit to himself. He worked so hard. He wants to listen to all the experienced lads. Him and Train Ione train us every single day, and they're great kids. A credit to their family, and I just think today he really came of age, and if he puts more performances in like that, then he'll just get more and more game time.
He's so exciting to watch. What is he like in training?
You don't want to come up against him, that's for sure. Not in 1v1s anyway. He's he wants to take anyone on. He's got quick feet. He can, he's not scared to take anyone on. But again, it's just just keep going on at him about the decision making, because that's what will make him a top player. He's got everything there, everything in his toolbox to go and have such a special career, and he's already shown that, and if we can help him on the way, then so be it. And I thought today the experienced lads around him helped him, and I thought then he just flourished, and fair play to him.
He got man of the match today, but for the record, Ali McCoy thought it should have been you, which I think...
I thought when Ali McCoy was on commentary and I scored, I thought it was a stick on. I can't believe he got it, but I'll give it to Rio. I'm delighted for him.
He probably would have given it to you if you hadn't come off the bench, if you hadn't played at all today.
True.
What about for the next round? Obviously you're the first team into the hat, that you talk about how important this run is. In the FA Cup, obviously going back to the Premier League, how much can you take from this competition to bring everything forward in the Premier League as well and just secure those Champions League positions?
We've been trying to search for consistency all season, and we've not managed to find it yet. That's the truth of it. We've been, up and down all season. We've put in some really good performances like we did tonight, but we've also put in far too many performances like we did on Tuesday. So from now until the end of the season, the experienced lads are trying to get, the newer lads and the younger lads to show that consistency. Because if we do that and we play like we did tonight, I do believe we can go far in this competition and we can go far in the Champions League. But if we play like we played on Tuesday, then we won't go very far at all. So it's trying to find that consistency, trying to find, the good performances at the right time. We did that tonight. Now we're into the last 8, one game away from Wembley, and a lot of us know how special it was when we won it in 2022, and we're trying to say to the lads how big the days are out, and we want to feel that again this season. Obviously the Premier League's out of our reach, Carabao Cup we're out of, so we've got 2 to go for, and if we show performances like we did today, then we've got a chance.
Excellent. All right, Robbo, go get warm. Lovely
Thank
to
you very much.
see you.
Thank you.
Congratulations
See you
as well.
later.
Great to
Thank
see
you.
you. Take care. Let's get some reaction from our slot.
Congratulations, Liverpool are into the FA Cup quarter-finals. Was that a much better performance than Tuesday?
Although a lot of things were the same as well. I think in the first 50 minutes we had a lot of ball possession. We're more of a threat than 3 days ago, but still not that we created chance after chance after chance. They had 1 chance, scored 1, so that's an improvement, because 3 days ago they had 1 chance and they scored 2. Again, we conceded in the last minute, but this one didn't hurt us. And after we went 2-0 up, I think the game was much more open, and then we created a lot of chances. But till the moment we scored the 1-0, which I see him now behind you, Robbo, made a great goal. 20-yard shot is not a big chance, but it makes life so much easier against a team that's defending with so many players, so tight and so aggressive. Then scoring a goal like this is really helpful to win the game.
Well, he doesn't score many, does he? But 95 seconds between Andy Robertson's goal and then the assist for Mo Salah. How valuable is he to this team?
Now, very valuable. First of all, because of the quality he brings. Second of all, for the personality he is. He hasn't played as much maybe as he would like to, although he played quite a lot. But last season he played more. But we've signed another very good fullback in Milos Gerkes. But today Robbo had to play, and if he has to play, he always shows up. So did really well today. The second goal was indeed a great assist, but a great lead up to that goal, great attack, in my opinion. If the linesman raises his flag for Mo Salah, I always doubt him, because if there's one thing Mo is really good at, is timing of his run and not being offside. And Mo was right, I was right, it wasn't offside.
Well, 17-year-old Rio Ungamoa got his start tonight, and he was given the player of the match as well. The only thing missing for him really was a goal. What did you make of his performance?
A good performance. I think he was even better than when he came in 3 days ago. Kept the ball really well. Was a threat constantly. A player that, as we know, because we don't see him for the first time, is able to beat his man in 1v1 situation, and that's something you don't see a lot in modern football. So good performance of him, and. That's special if you're 17 years old and you can impact a Premier League game. I know it's an FA Cup game, but 2 Premier League sides. In this manner, that shows that he has a lot of qualities. But on the other side, there's a player, Mo Salah, who he has to take an example of, because being a good player is not so difficult, but being a good player every 3 days, over a long period of time, that is something we're going to work on very hard with him, to make sure he can go to those levels.
You said before the game that Hugo Ekitike pretty much has to start every game at the moment. So how beneficial was it that you were able to give him a full rest tonight, and also to see Florian Wirtz back on the pitch ahead of a big Champions League game to come?
Yeah, it's nice to have players available again, not only 12, 13 or 14. I haven't spoken about it a lot. I don't think I spoke at all about that, but now we have them back. Maybe I can say something about it. These same players constantly had to play every 3 days, and then sometimes that impacts also performances. And I think it's, as you see everywhere at Premier League side that have to play so many games, you see more rotation, but that wasn't always able. That's why I respect these players that had to play so much, a lot, and that they could not always bring their best performance. Makes sense to me then. So it's good that today we could rotate a little bit more, and with players coming back and players that came in doing really well, makes it for me easier to rotate, but also to impact the game off the bench.
Well done tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Arne Slot with a big win tonight. Lots of different goal scorers. But also, as Jules was just saying there, really importantly, managing to keep Ekitike off the pitch and fresh, because the big game against Galatasaray is only on Tuesday.
Yeah, huge game on Tuesday. You're going to want to play the strongest team possible, and Ekitike is definitely part of that team. So yeah, it makes sense to rest him. I know we questioned it at the start, but they got the job done tonight, and there's a lot of tough fixtures there. And as much as the domestic season hasn't gone well, the latter stages of the cup competitions, you won't want to face Liverpool, because that's when clubs like this and teams like this produce their best.
How winnable do you think those next games are, Michael?
Very. I think, Spurs aren't playing so well. Galatasaray is not a bad draw in the next round. Obviously, going away to Turkey is never easy. But they'll look at that and think, right, we can build some momentum here. We spoke about Ekitike coming back in. That's an absolute certainty. Great that he's had a rest. The guy that was just stood by us a moment ago, the big question is, will he play instead of Kirkes? Because, of course, Kirkes was rested as well. But I think he should, personally. I think he's been pensioned off far too soon by a lot of people. He's got a lot to offer still.
Especially